Okay, so good afternoon. So the last topic for finals is your sexually transmitted disease. So today we're going to be diving into a very important and often overlooked topic for us dentists, no? Your sexually transmitted diseases and their oral manifestation. Okay? And let me begin with your learning objectives. So understand how STDs are classified, viral, bacterial, protozoal, opportunistic, recognize the common oral and systemic presentations of STDs, appreciate the multiple modes of transmission, your oral, genital, blood, and vertical transmission, and also for you to be able to learn current prevention strategies, including newer developments, such as your pre-exposure prophylaxis for HIV, your HPV vaccination, and post-exposure prophylaxis for some bacterial STIs. And by the end of the lecture, I want you to go there, anywhere, ready, not only to diagnose, but also to educate and empower your patients. Huh? And, and starting sa bahay ninyo. Okay? So we begin with your sexually related and sexually transmissible condition. It is very important to distinguish between two categories. So when you say sexually related condition, so these are lesions caused by behaviors associated with sexual activities. For example, your trauma from oral intercourse. And when you say sexually transmissible conditions, so these are real these are real infections, oh, caused by your pathogens. It could be a virus, bacteria, or protozoa. Okay? At saka kasi, 'di ba, you know that recent when you read literatures, 'di ba, it notes a global increase in STIs among adolescents and even young adults, particularly your asymptomatic cases. Okay? So we really need, no, careful oral examination, patient history, even in patients without obvious symptoms. Let's begin. First would be your traumatic conditions. So, before we dive into the different infections, no, let's review trauma. So, some lesions you'll see in the mouth are simply mechanical injuries and not infections. So, sexual behavior, including your oral sex, we are all, of age. So, we can talk about this one, no? Your sexual behavior, including your oral sex, again, it could cause abrasions, ulcers, petechiae, or tissue tears, especially on the delicate oral structures. For example, your lingual frenum or soft palate. 'Di ba? And because these traumatic lesions are benign, the management also is conservative. So, abstinence from the triggering activity, hygiene, observation as well. So if healing doesn't occur in a week or two, then further evaluation is warranted. So during my training sa hospital, one of our consultants showed us a case. Maybe nakwento ko na sa inyo, no. Pero he showed us a case of a lesion on the palatal area, and we were thinking, ay, ano ba to, no? He was asking us what could it be sa tingin namin, no? Tapos we were telling other pathologies, and he said na no, it is trauma because of oral sex. That's why it is important also that you take and you note of the social history and the um ang tawag dito, the profession, 'di ba? The trabaho, the work of your patients. Kasi sometimes it gives a clue, no? Dun sa ating mga kasali rin siya. It's part of the history taking din kasi. Okay? So, here, your traumatic conditions, you have your lingual frenum, yun nga, and soft palate, like what I said earlier. So, abstinence to permit the healing. So, you abstain from that triggering activity, diba? You also practice proper hygiene and also observe no? Um, your erythema and submucosal hemorrhage of the soft palate as well, bright red petechiae or confluent patches that bridges the palatal midline. And these conditions are not painless. Are painless, and also they do not blanch. Now, let's go to yan, photos, examples of this one would be traumatic ulcer of the lingual frenum or the condyloma acuminatum. Now, let's go to sexually transmitted pharyngitis. Now, no, after the conditions, no, we move to infection. So, certain sexually transmitted diseases may present not in the mouth proper, but also in the pharynx. Okay? And this term, we call it the sexually transmitted pharyngitis. So, this is seen in sexually active individuals between ages of 15 to 35. And the typical culprit are your herpes simplex virus type, HSV2, your Neisseria gonorrhoeae, and your chlamydia trachomatis. So these infections could be asymptomatic or mild, and many of the cases go unnoticed. That's why it is important, no, during dental checkups, ano pa din, oral and oropharyngeal screening. No, it could be a valuable public health tool. Now, let's go to your HSV. So, HSV2 or infection of the pharynx, it is less common compared to your HSV1 oral disease, but it does happen especially in the context of your oral genital contact. And clinically, you might see, no, multiple small vesicles that break down into shallow ulcers. And the healing, no, usually occurs 10 to 21 days. And the modern practice, no, would often include early antiviral therapy, for example, your acyclovir or valacyclovir, to speed up recovery and reduce viral shedding. Okay? Um, Now we go to your N gonorrhea, Neisseria gonorrhea, and your C um, trachomatis pharyngitis. I-ano ko lang. Oops. Yeah, like that. So, for this slide naman, your N gonorrhea and your C trachomatis, they are both gram-negative bacteria. They could infect the pharynx. The difference in the presentation of these two is very subtle. No? Your gonorrhea could produce your diffuse erythema, small tonsillar pustules, or an erythematous patch, and patients often report a burning sensation, increased salivary viscosity, and sometimes, no, even halitosis. Your chlamydia, ah, it typically causes mild pharyngitis and tonsillar inflammation, no, with few overt signs. So, many infections remain subclinical. Ang diagnosis natin dyan, we rely on sensitive molecular tests like your NAAT or your nucleic acid amplification test, rather than using, a gram stain or culture, because of higher sensitivity in asymptomatic cases. Okay? Now, your gonorrhea, I need to, oops, yeah, like that. Gonorrhea naman, still, no, remains one of the most common bacterial STIs worldwide, and according to the World Health Organization, no, in 2020, so 2025 na ngayon, mas madami pa siguro, no. In 2020, there were over 80 million new cases globally. So your pharyngeal gonorrhea, it is often transmitted by fellatio, especially important for us because it could be asymptomatic, but that one is transmissible. So that makes oral and pharyngeal screening very vital in patients with risk factors. Okay? So again, when you are in doubt, refer for proper testing. Next is treatment. The treatment for gonorrhea, no? Um, Traditionally, your treatment included a single parenteral dose of penicillin or other antibiotics, depending on the region, depending on the country, But in light of increasing resistance, we have a current international guideline of intramuscular ceftriaxone monotherapy for uncomplicated gonorrhea. Okay? Tapos meron din in new literatures, you would see a new promising oral antibiotic, and it is called your gepotidacin. Gepotidacin. So some current trends lang, no? Because it was recently shown in phase ill trials to be effective even against resistant strains. So, ano siya, potential game changer siya, no, if it becomes available worldwide, no? So that is your gepotidacin, okay? Um, Next is your infectious mononucleosis. So this one is caused by your Epstein-Barr virus and is classically the kissing disease. It is transmitted through your saliva, and orally it produces diffuse petechiae at the junction of the hard and soft palate. Also, tonsillar enlargement with exudate, your occasional ulcerations, and sometimes your NUG, your necrotizing ulcerative gingivitis. So, a very helpful clinical clue is marked fatigue lasting weeks, which is not typical in your bacterial infections. Now, yeah, the treatment would be bed rest, soft diet, analgesics, antipyretics if there is fever already, and the recovery is 1 to 2 months. So here are some images of your infectious mononucleosis. We have the palatal petechiae, and we have here your exudative tonsillitis. So classic yan na mga EBV findings. So intense petechiae like this one and your exudative tonsillitis. And patients would often think na strep throat siya, but EBV doesn't respond to antibiotics. Okay, so as dentists, as future dentists, you should not prescribe antibiotics unnecessarily kasi it reduces resistance. No? Instead, you recommend supportive care, analgesics, hydration, and rest if you are sure of your diagnosis. No? Next, we go to your syphilis. Ano yan? It's just it's not surgical, syphilis. It's Grey's Anatomy. So syphilis, there's an episode there that one of the intern has syphilis na napunta sa nurse, 'di ba? So this one, your syphilis, it is experiencing a global resurgence. So in fact, according to the World Health Organization and the Center for Disease Control, your syphilis have increased dramatically in the past decade, including congenital cases. At tawag nga natin sa syphilis, it is a master of disguise, the great imitator. Because many oral lesions would resemble your aphthous ulcers or fungal infection. That's why understanding the stages of your syphilis is crucial. Now, let's go to your um, primary syphilis. Yan. So, here, your Treponema pallidum, 'di ba? The hallmark is a non-painful chancre. So primary syphilis represents as a chancre, a solitary firm non-painful ulcer. So it appears at the site of inoculation, commonly the tongue, the lips, also the oral mucosa. It is indurated, round and clean base. So it heals spontaneously 2 to 4 weeks even without treatment. Oh, yung spontaneous healing, that is very dangerous, no? Because feeling ng patients, they think that they are cured, but the infection spreads systematically. Okay? So now we go to your secondary syphilis. So the secondary stage of syphilis is where the oral cavity becomes very involved na. So ang mga findings natin dyan would be multiple mucus patches, snail track. Yan, snail track for your your secondary. Again, for primary, you have the chancre. For the secondary, you have the snail track. Also, generalized lymphadenopathy, your other symptoms like your fever, malaise, and rash. Okay? So, ang tatandaan nyo sa secondary syphilis, yan nga, yung snail track ninyo, they are thin, elevated, serpiginous plaques that only syphilis produces. No? Kumbaga, pathognomonic siya with your syphilis. Yan, snail tracks. Next is your tertiary syphilis. So, this appear years later and it causes destructive lesions called your gammas. Like this. So, yung gammas ninyo, in the mouth, they may lead to palatal perforation, chronic ulcers, and also neurologic dysfunction. And thankfully, your tertiary syphilis is preventable if early stages are treated with your parenteral penicillin G. And this is still considered to be the gold standard. So here we have a flow chart. No, it shows the progression of syphilis if it is untreated. No, so many patients cycle between the latent and the secondary phases. Ibig sabihin nun that merong quiet infection that it could become infectious again. So this reinforces the need for early diagnosis, partner testing, and long-term follow-up. Here, we have the classification table naman of your syphilis and, the summary of it. So, your classification separates acquired and congenital, here, acquired and congenital syphilis. And your congenital syphilis, this one is a rising global concern because the infants are affected, congenital nga, and they may show Hutchinson teeth, saddle nose deformity, deafness, changes in the bone, diba? Next, this one is your syphilis. Ito si Dr. George, no? Uh, this might be, silly or humorous, but the message is very serious. Your syphilis is preventable, but only if the people receive accurate information and the stigmatized access to the screening. And of course, kaya nga natin siya inaaral because education is also our most powerful tool. Next, we go to your HIV and infection. We shift to HIV infection and AIDS. No? Still, this is one of the most clinically important infectious diseases with major oral involvement. So your HIV, it attacks your CD4 plus T cells, di ba? CD4 cells, T lymphocytes, no, gradually weakening the immunity. And the transmission occurs via sexual contact, blood exposure, perinatal, or breastfeeding. The oral signs naman, they often appear early, sometimes before a positive test. Oh, kaya ang mga dentist kasali yan, they are very essential no in the early detection of HIV. So, next, ba't hindi na bago? HIV AIDS naman. So, here. So, most patients would develop flu-like symptoms early on, then enter a very long latent phase. So, ang CD4 cell count na ay um, 200 cells. Oh? And the treatment naman dyan would be your ARVs, your ARTs, your antiretroviral therapy. Diba? It reduces morbidity and makes the virus undetectable. Okay? So these are the HIV-associated oral bacterial infection. And this one include your necrotizing ulcerative gingivitis, your NUG, and your NUP, your necrotizing ulcerative periodontitis. They feature no rapid tissue destruction, severe pain, fetid breath, foul odor, bone loss in your perio. Okay? And these conditions reflect immune collapse. So, if makita natin that the patient has NUG or NUP in a patient with an unknown status, consider din natin no, the possible immunosuppression, and we also refer the patient for testing. Okay? So, please read this. So, ito naman, your HIV, your NUG, and your NUP, no? Classic signs, no? Classic appearance nila would be punched out papilla, exposed bone, you can see the bone already, and rapid damage. So, the treatment would include your debridement, antimicrobials like your metronidazole, pain control, and of course, medical evaluation. Mm. So, NUG, NUP. Next, your oral fungal infection or candidiasis. No, this is the most common oral manifestation of HIV. It could be it could be pseudomembranous. Wait, oops. So your HIV, your oral fungal infection, your candidiasis, it could be pseudomembranous. Yan yung mga, the whites could be wiped off. Your erythematous, these are naman yung mga red and very painful, and hyperplastic if they appear white, thick, and it doesn't wipe off. Okay? So your persistent candidiasis, is one of the earliest signs of HIV infection. Please take note. Huh? So here we have your linear gingival erythema. So this is a unique form of gingivitis in HIV patients. You see there a bright red band here along the gingival margin. And hindi naman kasi siya, it's not simply plaque-induced. No? It's immune-mediated. So your antifungals could help, pero kasi hygiene pa din, and your ART, these are the two solutions. Because again, hindi naman sila plaque-induced. Okay? Yan. Also, equal frequency on the maxilla and even the mandible. And nga, antifungal could help, but again, hygiene pa din, and ART are the real solution. So next, pseudomembranous candidiasis in AIDS. You see here on this photo your classic presentation, no, your median rhomboid glossitis, your atrophic palatal lesions, and diffuse erythema. Basta kasi tatandaan nyo, if you see candidiasis sa isang healthy looking na patient, no, you always think of immunosuppression. So yan, your pseudomembranous candidiasis, you have creamy white plaques that on scraping reveal a red, raw, bleeding mucosal surface. Next is your atrophic candidiasis. So for your atrophic candidiasis naman, yan nga yung median rhomboid glossitis. They are asymptomatic. The patient is complaining of mild discomfort, also burning sensation, and alteration of taste. Your chronic hyperplastic candidiasis, ito naman, late stage na ito. No? Non-painful, diffuse, white keratotic plaques on the buccal mucosa. And the treatment would be antifungal drugs. So here, your median rhomboid glossitis and also your atrophic candidiasis. Next is your oral viral infection. So these include your HSV, your VZV, EBV, CMV, HPV, and you remember that recurrent herpes infections are more severe with deeper, longer lasting ulcers. So we have here, no? Let me just show everything on this slide. Okay, your HIV or associated oral viral infection, you would see it on the lips or in the mouth or mouth on keratinized epithelium. So meron din silang recurrent infection, and that looks like small vesicles that rapidly erupt, leaving shallow ulcers, bordered by a halo. So, on mucosal surfaces naman, typical of aphthous ulcers, no, you would see it on your tongue and the buccal mucosa. VZV, your varicella zoster virus, or your chickenpox, or your herpes zoster, your shingles. So, in HIV patients naman, no, shingles can affect any branch of the trigeminal nerve, and it is often with severe pain and slow healing. So, yung post-herpetic neuralgia, it could last months. So, early antiviral therapy is very essential. No? Yan, branch of the trigeminal nerve and your post-herpetic neuralgia. So it could last again months. Antiviral medication photos. Yeah, so that's recurrent herpes labialis, HIV associated recurrent herpes simplex, the ulceration, and also sa palatal, no, your herpes zoster. Next is your cytomegalovirus. Sa cytomegalovirus naman, it causes non-specific but persistent oral ulcerations. And seen din in patients with yung mga CD4 count of 100. No? Your cytomegalovirus also, it could cause your xerostomia, your salivary gland swelling, particularly your parotid, no, bilateral or unilateral yan. And persistent ulcerations, non-specific, they also do not match typical patterns that should raise suspicion. So yan, example of your gingival ulceration. Next is your EBV and hairy leukoplakia. So your hairy leukoplakia, this one is a pathognomonic sign of your EBV in immunosuppressed patients. The features of your hairy leukoplakia are raised corrugated white plaques on the lateral border of the tongue that cannot be scraped off and is asymptomatic. Okay, so the early lesions, yun nga, vertically oriented plaques on the lateral borders, and for mature lesions, it would cover the entire lateral and dorsal surface of the tongue, and it would also extend sa buccal mucosa and also on the palate. So, ayun nga, like what I said, no, it cannot be scraped off. So, yan, you would see hairy leukoplakia on the lateral border of the tongue. Next is your HPV or your human papilloma virus. So your HIV patients also, they frequently, they develop oral HPV lesions, your squamous papilloma or condyloma, verruca, or Heck disease. So your oral manifestations of your HPV would occur frequently in persons infected with HIV, even in spite of the therapy. For the condyloma acuminatum, so these are venereal warts, no, that pagka dinedescribe sila, no, soft cauliflower-like sessile lesions. It could be singular and also or coalescent. So, ayan, multiple, could be single, multiple, to coalescent, no? Also, ang transmission niya would be direct contact that results in contagious spread from anal or genital sites and self-inoculation. So, the treatment would be excision or antiviral therapy, and crucially, included na din yung partner evaluation. Your multiple or recurrent lesions, no, should always raise suspicion of underlying immunosuppression. So this one is your condyloma acuminatum. Next, oral malignancies. Kaposi sarcoma. So, your Kaposi sarcoma or your KS, this is the most common cancer associated with HIV, and it is caused by your HHV8. So, the presentation of your Kaposi sarcoma, no, would be, before that, the three types muna, your classic, your African, and your immunosuppression associated. Yun nga, most common cancer associated with HIV infection. So, ang presentation ng Kaposi sarcoma, let's see if I have a photo. This one, presentation niya, red to purple, red to violet macules, progressing nodules that tend to ulcerate. Also, they are common on the palate. Okay? So, yan. Yan ang mga clinical stages. Your asymptomatic red macular patch, red-blue plaque, and lobulated violet nodules that ulcerate, common on the hard palate, multiple, could be multiple, no? And is very uncomfortable for patients. And HAART, no? It has dramatically reduced the incidence of your Kaposi sarcoma, but still cases occur, no? Especially with poor treatment adherence. So, nagre-recur din talaga siya. So, here, your non-Hodgkin's. So, tatandaan nyo ha, review lang natin para hindi makalimutan, no? For your Kaposi sarcoma, ang ano niya, first is macule, then a plaque, then a nodule. Okay? Macule, plaque, nodule. Okay? Para hindi nyo ma-forget. Next is your non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. So your HIV-associated lymphoma presents as a rapidly growing purple-red mass, often on the palate or the retromolar area. And when you see this one, this is already an emergency. So, kailangan i-refer ninyo na siya, yung patient natin. Ha? Next is your squamous cell carcinoma. So, your squamous cell carcinoma may occur earlier and more aggressively in HIV-positive patients. So, ano ang mga titignan natin? Ano ang mga titignan natin sa mga patients natin, no? Na may ganyan. So, you check and you look for reddish white patches, ulcers also that don't heal, and indurated lesions. So, ang treatment niyan would be a combination of your chemotherapy and radiation therapy. Yan. So, that's it. That's the last one. So, this one is a presentation that I use, no? Luma na, cause this one is, my niece pa eh. I should change na to, change ko na yan sa anak ko naman. That's lumang photo na. So, yun lang. Your STDs, 'di ba? Lagi niyo tatandaan kasi now that you're studying, pero when you get your license, when you pass the boards, 'di ba? When you graduate, when you pass the boards and you get the license na as dentist, hindi ka lang naman nagtitreat ng teeth, 'di ba? You're treating people. Okay? So, makikita mo dyan, when the patient would open the mouth, it would tell you stories, no? Sometimes, behavior, infection, trauma, sometimes fear. No, your sexually transmitted diseases up to now, 'di ba? It carries a stigma, but that stigma is cured and should be cured by knowledge, 'di ba? So, lahat ng lesion na ma-identify ninyo, every patient that you educate, lahat 'yan, no, magiging advocacy ninyo na 'yan pag naging dentist na kayo. Because that is also a reminder, no, that dentistry is deeply connected to medicine, deeply connected to public health, and also dignity. Diba? Human dignity. So, um, yeah, that's it for your STDs. Thank you. Okay, let me just... Hoy.